Tom Cruise, the star of Top Gun, Maverick this year, is now 60 years old. He has 3 children, 2 adopted and 1 biological. Tom Cruise also a devout follower and a prominent figure of Scientology. It's speculated that due to this belief system, he even reportedly distanced himself from his biological child, Suri Cruise. The last public sighting of him with his daughter was in 2012 when Suri was just 5 years old. Suri is Tom Cruise's youngest daughter. The acclaimed actor, once an Oscar nominee, welcomed his biological daughter in April 2006 with his then-wife, Katie Holmes. Actress Katie Holmes began dating Tom in June 2005. The couple was previously believed to have become engaged that same year, just 7 weeks into their relationship. Around that time, Holmes, who was raised Catholic, was purportedly in the process of converting to Cruise's Scientology faith. Eventually, the couple parted ways in 2012, and it's believed that Katie filed for divorce from Cruise partly to protect their daughter Suri from the Scientology religion. Since Holmes and Cruise divorced, sightings of him with his daughter have been rare. Holmes has full custody of Suri, and they live together in New York City. According to Hollywood Life, the last known photos of Suri with her father date back nearly a decade, in 2012, when he took her to Disneyland, as seen in the image above. Sources indicate that despite the physical distance between father and daughter, Tom still loves his little Suri. Tom never intended to estrange his daughter when he chose to have a family with Katie, and he hopes to one day mend their relationship. It's hard to fathom a father turning away from his own child when he was once an overjoyed father. When Katie was pregnant, Tom Cruise was so elated that he bought a $200,000 ultrasound machine at that time, over 4 billion Vietnamese dong, just to see the baby every day. After his wife gave birth, he gifted the machine to the hospital. However, not everyone sees this action as a great idea. In fact, the American Institute of Ultrasound in Medicine condemned this action, stating that Tom Cruise purchasing an ultrasound machine for personal use at home was inappropriate and violated FDA regulations regarding the sale of medical devices. The birth of Suri Cruise was extraordinary for Tom. In the media, he still seems awestruck by everything he witnessed. It's everything you could ever want. It's spiritual, it's powerful, it's indescribable. In 2004, Katie Holmes, at that time engaged, admitted she once dreamt of marrying Tom Cruise. However, a few years later, Holmes realized she was moving away from the marriage she had once envisioned. Unable to bear it, she eventually filed for divorce. The reason? To protect their daughter, Suri, from Cruise's Scientology religion. At that time, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes reached a record-breaking quick divorce settlement. Seeking her own freedom, Katie agreed not to receive any assets apart from child support money. According to their agreement, Tom had to pay Katie $400,000 annually in child support, roughly $33,000 per month. Legally, Katie was entitled to a larger sum for child support from Tom, but in the interest of a swift resolution, she agreed to that amount. What is Scientology? Scientology is a new faith claiming to offer its followers a path to understand the true nature of the human soul and their relationships with themselves and their families. In some countries, however, this faith is considered a cult, exploiting members for profit and business. The recent documentary film, Going Clear, by director Alex Gibney, aired on HBO, has deeply shocked the public by addressing numerous cases of mistreatment, separation from families, and relegation within the church to do menial tasks like scrubbing toilets with just a toothbrush. The Church of Scientology, founded by L. Ron Hubbard in February 1954 in Los Angeles, aimed to recruit celebrities as one of its primary objectives. By the 2010s, this goal seemed to be achieved. Despite having 50,000 members, the church's value surged to $1.2 billion, primarily funded by contributions from stars, notably major sponsors such as actors John Travolta and Tom Cruise. L. Ron Hubbard, a science fiction writer, dropped out of George Washington University in 1932 to write pulp novels for a penny a word. Hubbard churned out over 1,000 books, holding multiple Guinness World Records for the most published works, most translated author, most audiobooks published, and the most translated book, The Way to Happiness. Much of Scientology's content was derived from Hubbard's science fiction novels, introducing terms like clear, a state within the church where one supposedly feels no pain and unwanted emotions. Before founding Scientology, Hubbard was a naval officer who exaggerated his wartime achievements. For instance, he claimed to have sunk 2 Japanese submarines, though in reality, he fired at a floating piece of wood off the coast of Oregon. After World War II, Hubbard moved to Los Angeles and befriended a rocket engineer named Jack Parsons, both engaging in a branch of the occult group Ordo Templi Orientis in California. Shortly after, Hubbard absconded with Parsons' girlfriend, Sarah Northrop. Northrop recollected that Hubbard had charmed her with stories of being a war hero, a captain of a sunken ship in the Pacific, having lived on a drifting wooden raft in the ocean for weeks, becoming blind due to sun glare, and suffering a wartime back injury. However, HBO later discovered that Hubbard had only minor arthritis and bursitis. Their relationship was tumultuous, with a threat of suicide from Hubbard to Northrop unless she married him. In 1946, they wed and had a daughter. In 1950, the family relocated to New Jersey, where Hubbard started writing Dianetics, the foundation of the later Scientology. The basic premise of Dianetics posited that the human mind recorded all experiences, both good and bad, which, when triggered, could be harmful. Through auditing, answering private questions from an auditor, one could eradicate these engrams to achieve clear, a state of emotional perfection. Northrop revealed that Hubbard's motivation behind Dianetics was not founded in science or a hope to aid people but rather for financial gains. He remarked to her that, the only way to make any real money is to have a religion. Hubbard aimed to profit from religion to evade government taxation. The Dianetics book became a cultural phenomenon, with Hubbard advocating it as a cure for all human psychological ailments. By the 50s, individuals paid $500 for Dianetics training, leading Northrop to believe her husband was swindling money from people. She wrote, "He started to believe he was a savior, a hero, a god." She even threatened to leave Hubbard if he didn't seek psychological counseling. In response, Hubbard fled to Cuba with their daughter, leaving the child with a mentally ill woman. He called his wife, alleging he had killed their daughter, dismembered her, and tossed her into a river, attributing the blame to her. Later, he called to say their daughter was alive. This drama unfolded amidst Northrop's immense agony. Ultimately, in 1951, Hubbard agreed to divorce his wife and granted her full custody of their child. Following the divorce, he emptied both their bank accounts. By 1952, as Dianetics started fading into obscurity, Hubbard plunged into financial hardship. He reshaped the book's ideas into a religious doctrine, the basis of Scientology. Initially, the movement had only 38 members and has since grown to 50,000, declining from its peak of 100,000 members. Amidst the late 60s, the tax authorities investigated Hubbard for tax evasion, causing him to escape from the United States to the sea. There, he established the Sea Organization, later becoming Scientology's clergy. Members pledged a billion-year commitment to the church. Hubbard devised punitive measures for any misconduct, including throwing them off the ship. During the 70s, Hubbard's ships were barred from docking in the Mediterranean. He stayed hidden near Florida shores to evade tax scrutiny, living in seclusion for the rest of his life. In 1979, in a federal raid, 11 high-ranking Scientology members were convicted of obstructing justice and theft. In 1986, at 74, Hubbard died of a stroke. Before his death, he didn't plan for a successor, and David Miscavige assumed the helm and has remained the church's leader since. Under Miscavige, Scientology grew exponentially, officially recognized as a tax-exempt religion in the U.S. in 1993. Since then, it has expanded its network of churches worldwide, each located in prime real estate worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Why doesn't Tom Cruise quit Scientology? According to statistics, there are up to 13 American artists, celebrities linked to this sect, including Tom Cruise. Numerous sources suggest that Tom Cruise divorced his first wife, actress Nicole Kidman, due to this sect's influence. The sect arranged Tom's marriage to Katie Holmes and later his divorce. Tom has faced considerable criticism for his involvement with this sect. As depicted in the HBO documentary, Tom Cruise is accused of turning a blind eye to the abuse and harassment suffered by Sea Organization members, a division within Scientology. To prove loyalty to the sect, members are required to sign a billion-year contract, compensated with only 40 cents per hour for their service. So why do figures like Tom Cruise and John Travolta persist in their connection to this sect? The reason cited by the director is that if they were to leave, the sect could expose their darkest, deepest confessions to tabloids. Recently, actress Leah Remini, who renounced Scientology, publicly criticized Tom Cruise and the sect. Tom Cruise has perpetuated a dangerous cult. Scientology destroyed my family, and I paid for it with my marriage and life. They forced me to have 2 abortions. I escaped in 2005 with only the clothes on my back and $200. They tracked and tried to stop me but failed. I won't watch or support any films that endorse a conman. Believe me, Tom Cruise knows about the abuses in this sect. I worked with him when I was in the cult. According to Leah Remini, the actor exploited his image to serve the growth of Scientology. Therefore, she warns the audience, don't let the allure of a movie star deceive you.